Welcome back to another episode of the Sanat Method. My name is Sanat, and the Sanat Method is a community of young, successful South Asian men that want to better themselves in every area of life. I feel like there's a bit of a stigma around being South Asian, and sometimes even self-development, and I believe there is nothing that's limiting you from achieving the best version of yourself and being competitive in every way, every area or aspect of life. And we do that already. Now, I'm a dentist, I'm 23, I've run multiple businesses, I run the social media, and I'm a very proud member of my family, which I think is something that we need to mention more. I'm a son, I'm a brother, and more. Those are some of, my qualifications, some of the things that matter to me, and the rest you can find on my social media, especially on Instagram. I make these YouTube videos to discuss the wisdom that already exists in the community and on my Instagram, but I want to make it in a long form piece of content, so here it is. Today's video is going to be discussing how to actually relax properly, how to recover properly from a stressful week, how to do things the right way regarding those two terms. I feel like we're all busy. We're all working 9 to 5, or we're students, busy with that, or we're at school. And then we have gym to do, and then we have to take care of our family, and then we need to go and make money, and maybe we have a second job, and then we want to maybe do social media or have other hobbies. There's so much going on, but how do you rest and recover properly? Well, this took me a while to figure out, but I would say I've mostly mastered it by now. Resting and recovery is quite literally the art of doing nothing. The first secret is you can either be on or you can be off. Your brain is either on or it's off, and often it's on because we're doing all this stuff, and social media just makes it worse, or more like Instagram and TikTok. When are you switched off? When are you doing nothing? Meditation, as I define it, is the art of doing nothing. When are you doing nothing? When are you allowing it to take a break? You're not. So I guess it's so simple that to fix it, you just need to do nothing. But your attention span is so horribly destroyed and distorted. You can't sit there. All these thoughts come your way. What are you meant to do? As soon as you sit there, your brain's actually working. It seems like it's working harder than before. Now, I use the analogy of a computer. During the day, your brain is like a computer. It's switched on and you're doing whatever you are on it. You're opening files, you're on Microsoft Word, you're on Google, whatever. But as soon as you stop doing stuff and you put it into the shutdown mode, that takes some time. Especially on an old computer, it would take some time. Maybe it takes 10 seconds for the computer, and maybe it takes you an hour. That just depends on, what state the computer is, and i.e. what state your brain is. When you are turning the computer off, and that time is being taken, it's still using energy. In the same way, your thoughts are still going to happen, your brain's still going to be working, but you're moving towards the direction of being switched off, just like the computer is. You see, you are processing your thoughts. A very, the most undervalued skill, mental skill we have in the world is to process our thoughts. We are often downloading new pieces of information into our brain, so much so that we aren't even able to retain that. That's why a lot of people are having memory issues as they go on. You've had no time to process all this information from the day. All this sensory overload around you. It's so much. Even me sitting here, taking the sun in, barefoot, grounding right now, there is still so much stimulation around me, even though no one's around me. You see, there's insects in that corner, there's a bird chirping up there, there's all these different trees, the leaves rustling, etc. There's a sensory overload even here in nature. Now imagine if I was scrolling through my phone and I was seeing all these people, and I'm in a busy city like London, and so much is going on, and there was an accident here, etc. You didn't have any time to process that, let alone your thoughts. That's the experience that happened. And then what about your opinion of it? You see, you need to spend some time processing things every single day so your brain can finally slow down and rest. But you haven't been doing that recently. So say you start doing it, what's it going to feel like? Well, I'll tell you. And I challenge you to do this. Every member of my community has already started doing this, and they've seen significant improvement. As soon as you start doing that, your sleep improves. It might feel hard at first, but all you're doing is sitting there. You're not at harm of anything. All you're doing is processing what's going on. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad. You're changing for the better, but that might feel difficult at first. As you process things, that time to process might decrease. Hopefully it will. If you keep everything else the same and you start giving time to rest and recover, that time will decrease. There's less to process, you see? The next bit would be sleep, but I feel like I've either made a YouTube video about this or I will make one soon. But your sleep will then improve because you don't have to process as much during your sleep. Your dreams, they're your subconscious, often the stuff you haven't processed. Why do you think those certain dreams keep reappearing in your life? You see? Now, as you go towards that state of being switched off, you could still be awake, which is fine. We call that NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. Or you could be asleep. Both ways is a win. If you're awake, then great. You're allowing your attention span to heal. You're allowing yourself and your brain and everything to relax, which is the right way to recover. And if you're asleep, even better. Because your body's that tired, it wanted that, and you finally allowed it to. You see, the issue is you're not sensitive to your body anymore. I'm just being honest, most people aren't, and I definitely wasn't either. But I made an active effort to be. I stopped listening to my body because I started to overload it with TikTok or Instagram or sugar. Sugar's a big one, with all the artificial light. Now you hear these things and you think, yeah, woo, 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 whatever. I promise you, when you start listening to this, when you start paying attention to what your body's naturally meant to be like, all these things play a big difference. And now my body's sensitive to this. When I get sun, I feel a lot better. When I don't, I feel a lot worse. When there's artificial light, I don't feel right. When I'm eating bad food, I don't feel right. My stomach doesn't feel right. My brain doesn't feel right. My hormones don't seem to be the same. So you actually get sensitive to what you're meant to be sensitive to. And it's in the same way that you don't actually know when you're tired. You're always having the coffee. You're always having the coffee. You can't see when you're tired. You don't know how to rest properly. Well, here we go. It's very simple. You just need to do nothing. You need to put stuff away. It seems hard at first, but all we're doing is curing that. And it's a lot harder to do by yourself, but when there's other people that you're connected to virtually, then it's a lot easier to do. People that can hold you accountable, etc. Now, if you have any questions on this, let me know, but I know it's something that people struggle with, especially successful people. They can do everything right and they just don't know how to switch off afterwards. And especially when you're nearing burnout, which is another term I can discuss in another video. When you start to rest and recover properly, when you start to switch off, then you stop breaking cycles, you stop burning out, you stop falling into bad habits, and you can keep the journey going longer and longer, which means more and more benefits, which means hopefully you're getting closer towards your goals. Because that's the point, right? You're trying to get towards whatever your goals are. It's that simple. Now, if you have any more questions on this, let me know. We talk about these things all the time in the community, 2 group calls a week. And if you want to be a part of it, then drop me a message on Instagram. The day I post this video, I can tell you the community is full, but we will launch again shortly. So if you want to get on the wait list, drop me a message on Instagram and we'll see if you're a good fit. Anyways, peace from me.